Hi, Andrew here, and it's been a while. My 3 viewers will note that in and around the time that this is recorded, if not but not published, I haven't put anything up for a while. Well, actually, that's technically not true. I have uploaded a dozen videos. I just haven't bothered describing them, tagging them, and publishing them. Why? About 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago was Labor Day. We're in the first week of November here, and it was Labor Day 2 months ago. And some switch got thrown. What that switch was, I don't know. But I have averaged 90 minutes less sleep since Labor Day, over these last two-ish months. And I think it's not a coincidence that this occurred exactly as my children went back to school. I am not one of those parents who is excited to have his children go back to school because I lose them. They're not in the house anymore. They're not hanging out with old Addie anymore. I'm not playing with them. I'm not, they go to school, they reconnect with their friends. Their friends are ringing the doorbell and dragging them off to the park. They're on play dates. They're, what we used to call hanging out, goofing around. Anyway, they're going for sleepovers. They've got birthday parties, all of these things. And basically, I don't have them anymore. And that was one of the things I was discussing with my head shrinker. The great tragedy and contradiction of being a parent is they're yours for a limited period of time, and that period of time, and in that period of time, you are required to prepare them to leave you. And the better a job you do preparing them, the easier it is for them to leave and be gone. So the closer and more time you spend with them, the closer you are, the more effort you put in, the more they are intertwined in your life, in your identity, the more they're capable of leaving. And every and every Labor Day, I am reminded I have one fewer summers to play with my children. I have one fewer years, one less year. My time, especially with my oldest, is growing short. A couple years, and he's ending high school, and he's off to whatever higher education that he's going to do. And then life. And by the time he's done that, number 2 is in it. And by the time he's done, number 3 is in it. And I'm looking down this road, this 6 years down this road, to when my oldest is ready to strike out on his own, or even sooner. And it knocks me for a loop. And every year, I'm 1 year closer. And so I got depressed. Really depressed. And I lost any semblance of my sleep. And with that wonderful vicious cycle that I got into, a positive reinforcement loop that is incredibly negative, the worse my sleep got, the worse my depression got, the worse my listlessness got. And I just spiraled down and down until the only thing that I could do was the basics. I was back to do your job and do it well, and exercise every day, and be there for your kids. Do the best you can. And that was one of the things I consciously made the choice. The last redoubt was my exercise. And there were days I so did not want to roll out the yoga mat or pull out the weights or get out there for my walk or run. I didn't want to do anything. The couch, the easy chair was calling me. But when you slip, when you break the chain, when you give up the streak, when you lose the streak, the longer you've been going, the longer it is until it's back. And I held myself to that. If you lose this, what's next? What slips next? So I managed to hold the line at exercise anyway. And as the last time I let that slip, my job started to go. And that didn't happen. So I guess that's a good thing. And today, in discussing this with Dr. Headshrinker, I made a commitment that I will return to my meditation routines. I will return to a bedtime routine. Even if I can't sleep once I'm in bed, at least I'll be there and I'll try. And here I sit outside the boys' piano lessons again. And I says, well, talk about it. Record something. Even if it's not posted for a while, at least record something. Do the act. Start the motion. And here I am listening, Sirius XM Radio, Symphony Hall number channel 76. Kindly put up Also Sprach Zarathustra for me, so I'm listening to that marvelous tone poem by Richard Strauss. And I got to tell my sons, who were trying to pronounce it, how to pronounce it, because I used to speak a little German. And I could give a little lesson, and we could talk about this and that. And now I'm outside the piano lessons and listening to it and recording. And thinking about these things, about the small incremental steps to get back on track. I've got my computer here, I'm writing for my first client, and I'm behind. I need to get this stuff done. I need to get some stuff delivered to her. She knows about my depression problems. She understands. She was in the psychological field for a long time before she retired out of 20 years, before she retired out of it to move on to a new thing. So I know I've got a reservoir of sympathy there, but I still made a commitment, and I got my bag with my computer, and I'll get something more written. Small stuff, small incremental steps to get myself back on track, because my youngest is 9, my oldest is 15. They're in that critical band where they're starting to separate out, starting to grow up, but they still need me. And with my youngest being 9, I still need to be around. I still have things to do. So I'm doing them. That explains the long gap. I hope to close some of that gap. I plan to close some of that gap. And in the meantime, though, thank you very much for watching. That was my time. Now is your time. And in the meantime, take care. And hopefully, you'll see me soon.